Peace. This is S.S.Oracle, Shadow and Soul Oracle. This is Savvy. Bear with me. I have some notes here, so I'm going to be looking up and down and doing my thing here. So I wanted to make this video based on the last reading that I posted. Okay, I picked up on an energy of two people in relationships that decided that they weren't each other's type. And, you know, within that relationship, there was some mirroring or imitation that was going on to appeal to each other. And so I was inspired this morning to write some notes and to talk about how to stop mirroring in relationships, right? Like, we're reflections of each other and for each other in relationships, no matter what the relationship is, romantic, platonic, family, right? Any with strangers, okay? We are reflections of and for each other. But what I'm talking about here is essentially changing who you are, or putting on or pretending to be something that you're not, so that a person can accept you, or a person will like you or love you more. And this happens a lot. Like, there's a lot of shows and movies and stuff that depict this very thing. And the thing that irritates me the most about it, it gets under my skin so much every time I see it happen in a movie or a TV show. It'll be like, most of the time it's a man or a boy and a girl, man and a woman, but it's the man or the boy that does this, and it bothers me so much. But, you know, I have compassion because I've recognized myself in a relationship where I've kind of done this mirroring thing, you know what I mean? So there's humility here. But it'll be like, a boy will meet a girl or a man will meet a woman, and they connect, and she starts liking him, and like, clearly it's like she's not rejecting him, but somewhere it's like he gets insecure and he starts pretending to be like something he's not. Or it's like, before they go on their first date, he starts getting advice about how to appeal to her, as if he didn't already get the date. Like, that means she's interested. If she didn't say no, why are you now pretending to be something you're not? Like, it's so irritating. But people do this all the time. All the time. Men and women do this all the time. Okay. And so this is how to stop doing that, and to just be yourself, and to have a self-awareness and a comfortability with yourself, so that you don't feel like you have to do anything to get acceptance. So self-awareness is the key, right? Self-awareness is the key, right? Who are you and what are you detached from relationships? What is your personal identity? Okay, not who you are in relation to your friends, not who you are in relationship to a spouse or a coworker or even your children. Who are you when nobody's looking? What are you about when nobody's around? What do you think about, right? What, again, assessing your values and standards is something that I talk about a lot. You know, what's important to you. Like, you have to know yourself. You have to be your own self. One thing that I created recently, working with my son at home, because I homeschool most of the time, is a feelings map. Like, I did this recently, and I did it for myself too. Like, I made it for him, but I was like, you know, maybe I should do this, because I haven't really did this in a while, right? Where you basically write on a piece of paper, do a big circle in the middle, and you put what makes me happy. And then you do another one, what makes me sad, or what makes me nervous, or whatever. And then you just branch off and you put all those truths, no matter how embarrassing or however you may feel about it, you put your truth there, right? So that you begin to identify with yourself, so that when you get into a relationship, you're not compromising those things or overlooking those things because you want another person to accept you. All right. And so the questions that you ask yourself when you are in relationship or seeking relationship or beginning to build a relationship with someone is, am I trying to impress this person? Okay. So back to the example with the movies and the shows with like the characters and stuff, where they want to pretend to, although they've already met the person and developed a connection and maybe made plans to see each other again, somewhere between that seeing them again, they want to start pretending to be something they're not, or try to make themselves more appealing. Okay. So you ask yourself, am I trying to impress this person? Am I seeking validation? Do I want them to want me? Okay. And you got to be honest with yourself. Do I want this person to want me? And if you say yes, then the follow-up question to that is, how much can I be myself so that I'm being accepted for who I am? Right? Rather than trying to turn into somebody or to behave in a way that's appealing to them. Because now we're dealing with self-sabotage. Now we're dealing with self-abandonment. Now we're dealing with self-betrayal, when you're refusing to be yourself or denying who you are so that somebody else accepts you. Right? And so I'm a shadow and soul oracle. Okay. So this is part of the shadow that you have to visit, where it's like, I may have left myself behind in a relationship so that somebody else sees me in a certain light so that I'm chosen or accepted. Right? I had to do it too. It's okay. Okay. There's been times where I've done it. Okay. And I've had to go through this self-reflection process as well, where it's like I wasn't being who I am or who I could have been showing because I felt maybe they wouldn't like me or I would scare them away, or you see what I'm saying? All those little things. So you ask yourself off the bat, am I trying to impress this person? Okay. Second one, am I trying to get this person's acceptance or validation by adopting their interest? And that's a big one too. Okay. I don't want to jump too far ahead. Okay. No, I'm not going to jump too far ahead. But yeah. Am I trying to get this person's acceptance or validation by adopting their interests? So another thing people do, and you'll see this in movies and movies and TV shows all the time too, where somebody will pretend to be interested. Like say somebody's interested in some type of extreme sport. It's always something like exaggerated in a movie and stuff, right? It's like they're interested in like parasailing or skydiving or something, but you're not. But you're going to act like you're confident enough to do it. You scared, you about to shit yourself, excuse my language, because you're trying to pretend or appeal to this person and make them love you or like you more because you want to be involved with what they're involved in. And that might be an extreme example. It could be something simple as a TV show, like sharing, like you sitting, y'all watching TV together and you're pretending like you're into what you're watching and you're really not, but you're trying to pretend like you are so that person feels comfortable. That's not genuine. Right? Like you're sabotaging the relationship, you're abandoning your truth, and you're also being deceptive with that person. And I'll get more into that soon. Okay. And of how doing this is a form of being manipulative and controlling. Because when we think of someone being manipulative or deceptive or controlling, we think of like the most extreme kind of narcissistic examples of somebody being verbally or physically abusive. But it can happen really subtly when you are essentially pretending in a relationship. Okay. But your intention is pure because excuse me, you really want to like be with a person or you really want to have a relationship, which is fair. But how are you moving in that relationship? Are you moving genuinely? Are you moving with strategy? And the strategy here and what I'm talking about is I'm not going to be myself. I'm going to be somebody else that I think they may like. And that's deceptive. Okay. So the first question was, am I trying to impress this person? The second question was, am I trying to get this person's acceptance or validation by adopting their interest? Right? Because you can be honest, I'm not into that. I don't be doing that. Don't get into nothing or say that you're interested in something that you're not just so that person accepts you. Don't do that. Okay. Third question, am I saying maybe if I'm more like them, they will like me or love me more? Okay. And again, this doesn't have to be romantic relationships. This can be friendships, platonic friendships too, relationships too. All right. Maybe if I'm more like them, will they like me or love me more? Maybe if I start doing the things that they're doing, they'll accept me more. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? That goes in likeness with the second question. But it's like you ask yourself that, like, am I really into this? Am I really about this life? Like, it can happen in subtle ways too. And I don't want to get too deep into this one because we do require encouragement and motivation and inspiration. But it's like the example I'm thinking of is like exercise and working out. Like you meet somebody that has a very strict or disciplined workout regimen and schedule, and you're trying and you think that if you do things exactly like them, they will like you more or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, now you about to wind yourself. Okay. You about to hurt yourself trying to keep up with another person's lifestyle, and you're not really about that lifestyle. Right? Or you're only about that lifestyle when you're around that person. But when you sitting at home, you scarfing your face, eating all types of junk food, you don't work out or nothing. But when that person come around, you got all the gear on and you ready to go. So it's like you're putting on just to be in the presence of another person who you may admire, but you're not really about what they're doing. You're just in that energy and thinking that's going to keep you connected. And that's, again, deceptive. So this leads to understanding that there's a difference between copying and imitating someone and sharing a vibrational signature, right? And so this one requires that self-awareness, and it also requires discernment. Okay. The example I want to use with this is like with music, right? Because music is like a connecting factor with people. You share the same type of music with somebody, that is like the most, one of the most intimate type of connections you could have, right? So say two people are meeting each other and they start talking about, oh, what's your favorite music? and a person is just like going off about the kind of music they enjoy, and they know certain artists, they know albums, they know all types of facts about the members of bands and all types of stuff, and maybe you're not really into music like that, but you're going to pretend like you are. And they may ask you a question and then you're stumped. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to act like you're about something that you're not. And then you may try to like brush it off with some type of charm. But again, it's not genuine. Okay. We can share a vibrational signature with people, right? And this can come off as mirroring sometimes if you don't have the discernment. And that's why I'm saying this requires discernment. Because when I say we are in relationship, we're reflections for each other and of each other, this is what I'm saying as far as vibrational signature and having a similar one, where it's like, say, I'll use dancing as an example because I like to dance. Like I posted like a couple videos like back in my shorts of me dancing. Like I like to dance. I've always liked to dance. In my childhood, it's something that I'm getting more into as an adult, right? And say I meet somebody else that likes to dance, but they dance way more often than I do. Like that's their life. Like they are a dancer. They're a professional dancer. They do their whole thing. Like what if they think that I'm trying to copy them because I start dancing more, not knowing that I already have an interest in dancing, or that I do practice dancing myself. Like some people will think you're copying them, or you may think people are copying you, not understanding that somebody may have a similar vibrational signature. It's just you or they express it more outwardly than they do. So again, it comes with discernment, and it comes with, a genuine curiosity and want to get to know a person to find out if somebody's actually copying you or not. Okay. And you'll be able to tell eventually. All right. All right. That was my next point. So it's like, eventually you'll know if someone's faking it or forcing it, and people will be able to tell. It's like my example with the music. Like if you call somebody out on something, they say, oh, I like that band too. And it's like, oh, well, what did you think about track number boop, 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 boop on this album? And they're going to be like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I thought you said you liked the band. I thought you said you were their biggest fan. You know what I mean? Or if somebody calls you out on something else, you know what I mean? It'll show eventually. And again, with the example of working out, you say, oh yeah, I love working out. I love doing a thing. And then the person takes you to go work out and you could barely run for 2 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it'll show eventually in some kind of a way whether you actually share a vibrational signature with someone, meaning you have the same interest, or you have the same habits, or you have the same desires. It'll come to light as truth or false eventually. Okay. Because you can only hold up a mask for so long. Okay. And then some people can tell, and some people might not say anything. You know what I'm saying? Some people may be able to tell when somebody's not being genuine, or when they're trying to be impressive. Like some people can tell. Okay. All right. So you tell yourself, or you say it in your mind, or you may even say this to a person, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be romantic about it, it's like, if I like you, it's because I like you, not because you're like me, right? So if you're on the receiving end of feeling like somebody is copying you, or somebody is trying to imitate you or emulate you or keep up with you to appeal to you, right? It's like, when we're in a relationship and we're wanting to get to know somebody and we're interested in somebody, it's like, I'm interested or I like you because of you, not because you're like me, right? Like that's what you let somebody know. Right? I value and appreciate our commonalities, but it's your uniqueness that is attractive and interesting. And your uniqueness is part of what we explore in our connection. There's nothing to explore in the relationship if we're exactly the same, or if we're trying to be like each other, right? Right? There's mystery to relationship because we are unique individuals. If we're trying to be like or emulate or copy the person that we're with, where's the curiosity? Where's the mystery? You see what I'm saying? There's nothing left to explore in that relationship if we're exactly the same or trying to be the same. All right. Healthy relationships complement. They don't copy. It's like mustard and ketchup, right? Peanut butter and jelly. Like it's like we have our differences, but we go together, and we may have similarities, commonalities, a shared vibrational signature or frequency, but we're still individual, unique expressions. And what makes a person interesting is that uniqueness, right? It can only work for so long to pretend to be like another person if that person isn't self-aware. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because you already know yourself, right? Like if I say I already know myself, you trying to appeal to me by trying to be like me is going to be very obvious, especially if you don't naturally embody a certain kind of an energy, right? So with this awareness, you stand in your own energy. right? You no longer behave in a way that says, let me show you how great I think you are by being just like you, because that's not necessary. And it's not as flattering as it seems, because it can be cringy. The best example for this is like siblings. Like if you, it was a blessing for me to not have a younger sibling earlier in life, because it probably would have driven me crazy if my sister was copying me 24/7, maybe. Okay. It would have probably drove me up the wall. But if you've had that experience, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. When someone just wants to do everything you do, copy everything you do. I had an incident yesterday. It was with my son. He was with his friend at the park, and there was this other little kid that was just shadowing them and following them around, and they were so annoyed. You know what I'm saying? Like adult people do that though. Like it's not just children, and it's not just within sibling relationships. This happens in all types of relationships. Okay. All right. It's not necessary, and it's not as flattering as it seems to emulate someone just to show them how much you appreciate them. Now, I'm not going to get deep into talking about like celebrity culture or anything like that. Like I'm thinking, not even just celebrity culture, but that scene from Mean Girls, Regina George, where like everybody was like copying everything. Every time something happened to her, everybody was copying her or something. Like inspiration is one thing, and we do derive certain influences and inspiration from people. Like, I see somebody with a certain kind of haircut or hairstyle, and I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. Like that's innocent. You know what I'm saying? But when it gets down to you want to copy everything about that person, the way that they talk, their mannerisms, okay, their interests, the way they dress, like everything is just kind of slowly but surely like ticking off, like, okay, you doing this, is that, just to be like this person or to connect with this person. That's when you need to scale back and ask yourself, am I doing all this because this is who I am? Again, shared vibrational signature. Is this who I am too? Do I actually like these things? Am I actually about this? Are these actually my passions? Or is this something I'm putting on or trying to do because I want this person to like me or love me or accept me? Okay. Apologies if this sounds redundant, but I feel like this is the best way that I could relay this message. Okay. Being authentic and genuine doesn't mean mirroring, right? So being your authentic self and your genuine self doesn't mean mirroring. It doesn't mean copying anybody else, right? And so I mentioned this earlier about it being on the shadow side of this behavior kind of being controlling, right? So it's controlling behavior when you copy someone and you're basically abandoning yourself, or you're not being yourself. When you're copying someone, it can be controlling behavior because you're attempting to control a person's perception of you. It can be deceptive because it's not who you really are and what you really like in terms of the interest and hobbies and stuff, right? And it's manipulative because you're attempting to create a reality or a sense of intimacy that's not truly there or genuine. So you're pretending to like things or enjoy things that you really don't, but you're going to do it because this person. And again, this may require some discernment. And again, I'm talking about adult to adult relationships. I'm talking about you and your kids, or I'm talking about adult and adults. Okay. And and I didn't write this in my notes, but there's a difference between supporting somebody's interest or their lifestyle and wanting to be involved and a part of it yourself. You can respect and even enjoy another person's lifestyle or their interest, or support them and what it is that they enjoy without becoming enmeshed into it. You know what I mean? So maybe that needs to be said too. Sometimes just going along to get along is wrong, especially when you're hiding who you truly are and what you truly like just to be admired, accepted, or chosen by someone else. It's truly a form of self-abandonment, self-betrayal, and self-sabotage. And that's what it can look like, right? Just going along to get along, like, okay, I'm gonna just follow them and do what they do so that they know that I'm with them. That might not work out long term. Like, it may not work out long term in terms of the relationship lasting and you feeling secure in that relationship because you've abandoned yourself just to appeal to or follow what another person is doing. This happens a lot in marriages. Okay. And you don't find out till later on, like, this is not the life that I want, or this isn't the lifestyle that I want, because you just enmeshed your life into somebody else's and you abandoned your autonomy and your individuality. Okay. So why does this happen? Like, why do we do this? Without getting deep into like inner child or childhood trauma or anything like that. Like, basically it's just identity blocks, right? It could be things from childhood, or not having a sense of autonomy, or being encouraged in your individuality, having your uniqueness suppressed or being called weird and being shunned for who you are. Like all of that contributes to the behavior of wanting to feel accepted in a relationship and pretending to be something you're not, or copying other people. Also, masking in public and in society. So having occupations and having to put on masks for hours upon hours in a day and putting on a face for customers or clients and things like that. And that behavior then repetitiously translates into our interpersonal relationships, right? And we don't realize that it's a subconscious thing, right? This is part of the shadow work. You don't realize that you're putting on a mask in intimate relationships because you wear a mask so consistently out in public, in your job or your business or whatever, right? So it comes out in relationships as well, right? It's also a lower chakra issue. So your root, your sense of I am, who you are, your sacral, what you feel, and your solar plexus is your will, right? The sense of autonomy and identity and doing and being and living from your center, from your core, right? So there could be blocks there, or again, blocks in your feelings, or blocks in your who you are rooted and secure and stabilized by, like in terms of identity and what you resonate with, in terms of your ancestry, your family, okay? So all of that matters. So we go back to the top here. Like when I was talking about the feelings map, about drawing on a piece of paper, writing that circle in the middle, and you say, what makes me happy or what makes me feel blah, 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 blah. You start tapping into those chakra energies, okay? And you put it somewhere in your room or in your space where you can see it and you can look at it from time to time to remind yourself who you are as an individual and what things mean to you. So that when you're in a relationship, you know that boundary. Like you're not gonna ignore yourself because you've become allured or enamored by another person and you want to appeal to them. No, you have to bring yourself into the relationship and keep yourself in the relationship. And these are things that I tell myself all the time too. So I'm sharing it with anyone who's remained on this on this video for this long. This might be the longest video that I've done because I usually don't make long videos, but yes, if you've stayed this whole time and you've got some good information or you found value in this, then I appreciate you as well for listening. If you're interested in any of the services I have to offer, I offer a one-on-one spiritual wealth building session. It's a 1-hour session. It's for people who have financial or economic security and stability in their lives, but they're seeking more guidance or connection in their spiritual life, and how to anchor themselves with things beyond the material or the physical reality, and how to connect with their higher self or higher power or spirit guides and things like that. So that's the one-on-one spiritual wealth building session. I also have the multidimensional chit chat where we can talk about spiritual things, metaphysics, mysticism, Gnosticism, occult topics and things like that. I offer the love life reading and alchemy reading, and you can click the link tree in the description if you're interested in any of that. Please absolutely do review the disclaimers and the descriptions, read the descriptions clearly before you book, okay? And I will talk to y'all next time. Peace.